Hey, I'm A Fox, and I've been in the Web3 space for close to a decade, building software and teaching people about the space. And today, I'm going to speak about vibe coding. The growth in AI assisted software development has led to a growth in this concept called vibe coding. So, in the next few minutes, I'll explain a little bit more about what it is, how AI has totally changed the game, and I'll show you with an example how you can quickly build apps nowadays with the help of Cursor, which is a specific piece of software without even being a software developer, and basically just vibe coding, right? So, vibe coding is a mindset of writing code without following any sort of rigid structure. You just vibe along and hack something together, right? Build something. Think of it like jamming on a guitar instead of following sheet music. AI has made it super easy to vibe code. People can now code things up really quickly without even needing to be technical enough to write the code themselves, which is pretty amazing. It's game changing, and it means that anyone can prototype and build ideas fast. In this sense, AI is completely democratizing the otherwise high skill work of software development. And if you come to this post, you'll see an X post here with like 10 examples of just incredible things people have vibe coded away, right? However, the drawback is that you can get yourself into a pretty bad situation if you do, in fact, have no idea what you're doing. Take this guy, Leo, whose AI coded app leaked its API keys, which it shouldn't be doing, and was then hacked by a bunch of people online. He made this post, his guys, I'm under attack. He had 2 million views, right? Um, but Leo's example above is not to make you give up on vibe coding. It's just to make you aware that it's not without its risks. But the key thing here is it's never been easier to just build and just get something going from 0 to 1. And I highly recommend anyone who's ever wanted to build some software that they give it a go with the help of AI. In fact, I've already made a previous post a few weeks back and an accompanying video on how to build a website with the help of lovable.dev. And you can check in my videos or you can click through in the post here. And this week, I'll run through how to use Cursor, which is an all-in-one software developer environment powered by AI. It's truly incredible what you can do with it, and I couldn't recommend it anymore. Highly, right? Now, just a quick note is that although you don't need to be a coder to get great results, you do still need to do a few technical things to get started with Cursor. So this might slow you down, might not be for everyone, but stick with us. So just before we carry on though, if you want to set up your first crypto wallet so that you can take part in the growing global crypto economy, Web3, AI, all of it, and access over $1,900 worth of courses entirely for free, then click the link in the description below. Now, Cursor is a software development and environment, an AI tool all wrapped up in one, right? It's an environment to build code and AI and use AI, right? The team essentially forked or copied another software development environment called Visual Studio Code and then added support for AI. But they've made something truly incredible. And it makes it super easy for you to do some vibe coding. So this is the website, and if I can pull up the app, looks like this. Well, we'll come back to that in a sec. So you should go start by downloading the software from cursor.com and open it up and then just click continue as you make your way through and make sure to sign up with a new account, right? You'll get to a sign up screen like this, but just need to click through T's and C's and privacy stuff as usual. And then you'll see the Cursor app, just like I showed you a second ago, ready to go. And it'll probably look like this to you, or it might be in a black background. I configured mine to have a light theme, but essentially you'll get this screen, right? And we'll start by creating a totally new project. If you have your own project you want to work from, that's fine. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're starting from scratch, right? So create a new folder on your computer, go into that folder and open the terminal app. On Mac, it looks like this. On Windows, it's called the Command app. And make sure you're in the right folder in the terminal, which you can do by typing CD and then the folder name. And once you're in there, you can type these things one at a time. I've already done it. It would take a long time to do in the video. And essentially you'll type this and it will create the app for you, the bare bones app. then you type this once that's finished, and it will move into that folder, and then you type npm start, and that's when you get this terminal, right? It's successfully running the app in the browser on that address, right? Just running locally on your machine. So yeah, it'll get the app running on your locally on your machine, and then when you open up, you'll get something like this, which I showed earlier, something along these lines, right? Now, that's the basics. That's got you set up. I know I just jumped through it, so if you want to pause, feel free to do so. But this is giving you the basics, right? So now let's vibe code, right? Below, I'm just going to show you how I used Cursor to build an EVM address checker to see everything inside an Ethereum-based address. So the focus is on Web3, right, and crypto. So this is a simple concept. We would just put an address in, a user's crypto address, and check what cryptos they have attached to that address, like on the blockchain, right? So to start, I wrote the following prompt in Cursor. Can you build a simple app with a front end where I can input an EVM address, and it shows me all the tokens associated with that address on all the different chains, on all the different blockchains. So I wrote that up here. Need to load, so just go back to the top. Can you build a simple front end app? This is what I did, right? And then it got started, and as you can see here, it asked me to select run commands so that it could actually install some packages, and it went through and did the rest. So we can see here, it added some packages, then it carried on, it wrote a bunch of code, it created all this code for me, and then it just kind of repeated back what it's built, right? Now, it pretty much built the entire thing already, right? Just at that point, just with a single prompt. And I had to just click accept all, and then it carried on. However, I started getting an error then in the terminal that was showing up here, and I copied and pasted that error in Cursor to ask it to fix it. So I just say, look, I'm getting the following error. And then what it did was it tried to figure itself out, blah, 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 and it got I created another error, and I just copied that error in. And after just doing this a few times, um, I did get a few errors, but it kind of figured itself out. I didn't have to do anything particularly clever. It just figured it out. Then it said, okay, I was like, okay, this looks great. So let's go back. I had to repeat that a few times, but eventually you got it running, right? And it looked like this at the time. And I was like, okay, awesome. This is great. Well, I'll keep that there. This is great. But I wanted it to support more tokens, because it's just currently, it just had ETH on all these different chains, right? And so I said, I want to support more tokens. And so then that's what I did. I asked Cursor, hey, can you support more tokens? Where did I write it? This looks great, but can we make it support more tokens? And then off it went, and it wrote a bunch of code for me, blah, 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 blah. And immediately afterwards, I just carried on vibing and typed in this. This is great so far. We'll look at it in here. This is great so far. Can you add token prices, make it look a little bit more pretty with the tokens appearing in the list format? Because you can tell it wasn't a list before. It was just kind of like these squares. Also order the tokens by their value, so like the price times by quantity, and add all the values up together to get a total USD value. Cool. So I did that, and just a bit of vibing, and there we go. You can see there was no code written. It was just prompts, and it was all just kind of simply asking it to go off and do something cool, make it look prettier, right? And make it do some more interesting functionality. That's pretty much all I needed to do. And the result was we got this. So let me see if I can, let me see here. Okay. We got this result. So we got this here, right? And now I copied in this address, and if I select fetch tokens, it will just do some magic, do the loading in the background, run the functions to actually get the token prices, and we'll see the result in a bit. Oh, took a little while to load, but then it worked it out. We got it's saying this wallet has $80 in ETH on Ethereum, $70 in ETH on Base, um, $35 on BNB on the Binance Smart Chain, $31 in ETH on Optimism, 28 on Arbitrum, $15 in Matic on the Polygon chain, and some other things, right? Pretty cool, right? And you saw there was no actual, it was just prompting, just vibing, right? So, it added up all the tokens held to around $278, then listed them in order from the highest value first, showing the blockchains that they were held on. And that was pretty incredible, right? I mean, I didn't write a single line of code, I just vibed along. And there's, plenty of ways this can be improved, right? Firstly, this will come across limitations if too many people use this, app, right? Because the APIs that we're calling in the background are on the free tier somehow, so they'll be limited. If we were to put this on a website and lots of people start using it, we'd run into issues with that, right? Moreover, it's not particularly pretty. We could make it prettier by drawing what we wanted it to look like, uploading it here. So I'd show you here, uploading it into this part here, clicking this button, and making that version uploaded, and then typing like, can you make this pretty, please? Can you take this picture and make the website look more like this, please? And I actually recommend, if you want to try to do that and you want to try to build something slightly more well thought out, that you use something called lovable.dev, which I have made a video about before and a post about before, and that can make a really pretty front end. And then you can use Cursor, which I've shown here, to make the back end, and tie up any loose ends, right? So, we found this to work really well. Lovable for the front end, Cursor for the rest, right? Tying everything together. So that was it, like pretty awesome. I told you to be quick. We got a good look at what vibe coding is, essentially just prompting in and building stuff, just vibing. And you can see it's never been easier to, get a product going from 0 to 1, right? AI assisted coding is a monumental shift in software development, and it's rapidly evolving. Work that previously required like 1 month to do can be done in a week, right? However, as of today, none of these tools completely remove the need for coders. You may have seen that there's some complexity involved in what we did, especially at the start, which I kind of jumped through, right? On getting a terminal set up and just getting your app set up. But and also AI can introduce security flaws, which I mentioned before. Nonetheless, AI's already made developers much faster, much more productive, as this example shows. And productivity growth is the real secret sauce to economic growth, right? There's a funny little meme of a knight that defeats a dragon wanting to get all its gold. And he says, I can get the gold now. And he says, well, the gold is actually this machine that makes you more productive. And he says, the wealth of nations lies not in gold or coins, but in their productive capacity. The more productive a country is, the wealthier it can be, right? So yeah. Also, if you've never coded before and have always wanted to learn to code, then now is the time, right? AI's made it easier than ever to get started, and you can just pick up and learn the fundamentals of software development as you go along, right? So the tools are there, and now is the time. It's a great time to vibe code, right? Beyond Cursor, I've mentioned Lovable, but there's also Replit, V0, Codium, and there's others coming online all the time. And when you take into consideration that these tools are all so new, it becomes pretty crazy to imagine what they'll be like just 5 years from now. Maybe then, I previously said you still kind of need the developer. Maybe by then you really won't, right? Vibe coding for both non-technical and technical people alike, has never been more fun and simple than now with AI. So, you know, get vibing. And if you want to, as I said earlier on at the start, set up your first crypto wallet so you can take part in growing global crypto economy, um, and get involved in Web3 and AI, access over $1,900 of courses entirely for free, then click in the link in the description below, and I'll see you there.